Segment 2, Gold and Black Live. Brian Neubert joins us and George Karlaftis. Like I said, this is a Gold and Black Live first, our first high school. You're going to be in college here before long, here in about another month. But welcome to the show. George Karlaftis needs no introduction. Not only is he a state champion this week from West Lafayette High School, but obviously a kind of the linchpin of the produced 2018, 19, I guess, actually, recruiting class that will sign here in December. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on. And, just off of we just had John Speaker and Kelly Kitchell on, two of your coaches, but coming off a high like that, just with a win in the state championship, a pretty good way to end a high school career.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was kind of like the cherry on top, and I wouldn't have wished it happened any differently.
Yeah, unbelievable finish, and you almost got that touchdown reception. So you got to give Kelly had talked about, Coach Kitchell had talked about your response to that first play in 8th grade. Do you remember that any differently in terms of, and
Yeah.
the story he told was that if you going after from a defensive middle guard or nose tackle position, tell us from your perspective.
That was after the play. So before the play had started, I was just getting in my stancer, and they said go, so I went, and it was like a hard count, so I went off sides and knocked the center over, and then I got out. I got taken out because they were like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. But it's kind of a cool story to tell.
Yeah, I think it is a good story.
Was there a story too where you got into the backfield once and didn't know what to do?
Yeah,
that's kind of ties
is
in.
it the same one?
Okay. In Brian's defense, he wasn't here the first 5 minutes of the last show. He was actually working for
Brian's really loosely here right now.
Yeah. Talk about, though, it's obviously an interesting week as a commit to a program where you have a head coach that is looking at another opportunity. What were your emotions this week as you looked at, did it change from Monday, Tuesday to Wednesday? Where was your anxiety level with respect to that?
I had kind of a gut feeling that Coach was going to stay. He's a smart guy. He knows what he has here. But family does come first a lot of the time, so that's kind of like where I was like, oh, maybe he'll go, maybe he'll stay. But I'm pretty close to Coach Brown, and if he were to leave, he would let me know first. And I'm just glad he did, and I'm super happy now and ready to go.
Yeah.
How did you find out he was staying?
So Brady, his son, told me that he's staying right before the press conference. He was like, he's going to announce. He's like, don't tell anyone. I was like, okay. So.
God, you could have had yourself a few more Twitter followers if you just would have said something there. No, but Brady's the all-timer on that standpoint. What you're going to enroll in about the 10th of 10th of January? 7th of January. God, you know the date. That's good. And you're going to take how many hours? Do you know?
I'm in 14 right now.
Okay.
I'm at another math class of 16, but we'll see.
Yeah. What do you want to study at Purdue?
Right now I'm an undecided, but probably business or economics or finance, something like that.
Yeah.
Just, how come you wanted to do the early thing? What did that come down to for you?
Right. I have one goal in mind, and that's to make it to the NFL, and I think that's going to help me out a lot, and especially with early playing time and my development physically and as a football player and learning the plays and that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be really beneficial.
Purdue does have a need in
Yes,
the spots that you would project to play next year. Did that go in your thinking at all too, that there is an opportunity here, everything I can do in my power to prepare myself for that?
Right, for sure. I mean, the goal is to graduate early and be ready day one. Game one, actually, I should say, and just prepare the best I can, and I think that's what's going to happen.
All right. Coach Holt, the defensive coordinator, is kind of an interesting character. What in terms of now? I know all your coaches in high school never yelled at you once, I'm sure.
You're wrong on that.
But tell me what that will be like, not just in that, but also obviously you've got other coaches that are going to be looking over you as well.
Right. The playbook's pretty big, so I'm going to have a lot of learning to do, and so will the other guys coming in. And there's not going to be any exceptions just because we're the best recruiting class or whatever. We're going to have to work as hard as anyone else, if not harder. And I'm just happy to work with Coach Hull. He's a great guy and a great defensive coordinator with an amazing resume. So it's going to be fun working with him. And I've been in a couple meetings, and they're real fun. And excited, really.
Yeah, who in the recruiting process, was it Coach Jeff Brom, or who did most of the one-on-one with you when you, and I know you have to go all of about 3 miles to make your official visit down here, but tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I didn't really hear anything from Purdue until like 2 weeks after Coach Brom came here, and he came straight to the school and offered me a scholarship right there. That was one of the first things he said. And then from there, I didn't have a lot of interest because like I was like, Purdue's not that good. Like I thought I was kind of like not above it, but like I thought I was like better than that because they weren't really great.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started saying, oh, Coach Brom's going to be really good, and my family had an effect on that, especially my grandpa.
Yeah.
So then I started meeting with them, and my grandpa got kind of close with Coach Holt, so I took a visit there, and everything just took off after that.
Yeah.
When you come in next year, obviously during your high school career, you've had certain advantages over everybody you play against.
Right.
Size, strength, athleticism, whatever it may be. Obviously, things even out a little bit when you get to a higher level.
Right.
You're 18 playing against 20-year-olds.
Right.
Do you have to keep it in mind, things aren't going to be easy. I have to be prepared to struggle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all the time. I look at that even at this level. I know I'm better than some of the guys, but the key thing that I have in the back of my mind is if I give 100% effort every single snap, then I can't do anything more. And I think if I give 100% effort every single snap, every single play, and every single aspect of my life, I'll be just fine.
How have you in the last couple of years, because you became in your junior year, in the world of recruiting, a household name almost, in terms of how did that help in your maturity level, in terms of coaches talked about you became more of a leader this year. Where'd that light bulb go on for you from your perspective?
Right, during really the football season, I don't really focus that much on recruiting. It's just me with Westside, and that's all I care about. I mean, I'll call coaches. That's all my own time. When I'm with my team, I'm with my team, and that's it. I'm not focused on anything else but Westside football. But the maturity really just came from when I grew up, because my father died when I was pretty young, so I had to grow up pretty early. But the recruiting process helped with that also.
Yeah, talk about your dad obviously was a very accomplished football player at the U, and that and obviously the difficulty of having to go through that from your perspective. But what influence does he have on you as a football player?
Right, he got hurt in college really, so he was kind of weary about me playing when I was younger, obviously. But in sports in general, he was just really helpful and would always learn the sport I'm playing and try to give me tips and advice and stretches or workouts and that kind of stuff. So that helped me a lot when I was younger, and it helps me to this day right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just what's Purdue's football plan for you?
Well,
in terms of how they're going to use you, where they're going to play you.
So you want me to go specifics?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Well, they want me to go in and play their true defensive end spot, which is not a lot of dropping back, just rushing the quarterback, and that.
What they have Revere playing now,
right? Yeah, I think they're going to move him in maybe or something like that. Right. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting. I like playing that spot where I'll drop back some, but not too much, and because my strength is really rushing the quarterback and playing the run, so I'm really excited about that, and I think that will work well with my skill set.
Yeah. Did mention tight end a little bit too up front, didn't they?
Right. Yeah. Maybe some goal line packages. Maybe we haven't really talked about that too much in terms of X's and O's, but they threw it up in the air. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously we had in the last segment talked about your catch, and it was your only catch this year, right?
It was my second career reception.
The 23-yard reception on. Felt good to catch the football and run towards the end zone, or at least move toward the end zone. So
it felt awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm a defensive lineman, so getting the ball is really exciting. Yeah. So when I got the ball thrown at me, I was like, I have to catch it, because then everyone's going to be like, oh, you dropped it. We shouldn't have put you in. It was kind of underthrown, but I was just trying to get to the end zone so I can score for my team, but I didn't score on the 1 yard line, and Sage scored right next play, and that was perfect.
Yeah, you had some other good role models on that toughness even in high school. That team brought some of that. What do you even as a freshman, you're going to have a bunch of peers, a very, very good recruiting class coming, maybe the best, and Brian could talk about this, but in almost 2 decades. What's that like from your, I mean, what will that be like when you see other guys that come in here, maybe not competing for your position, but this is a highly regarded class. How do you look at that?
Right. I mean, Coach Braun, about a year and a half ago, he told me that he wanted me to like take over and help them recruit in terms of like a head recruiter as a player, you know.
Yeah.
And I take pride and say that I did a pretty good job. We ended up with a pretty good recruiting class, and it's the best, you know. I mean, it's the best feeling that I could have because I'm proud of what we've accomplished in terms of the recruiting, and just looking forward to get to work.
Yeah.
What was it like when you came on that visit for the Minnesota game last year, and I think they got you some time with Drew Brees? Mm-hmm. Rondell, too, I believe, was there. But what was that like, sort of meeting Drew?
It was pretty cool. I was kind of starstruck at first. I was like, oh my God, it's Drew Brees, you know. But it was pretty cool meeting him, and he's a real personable guy and a real great guy, and he always has a smile on his face. And I got to meet his wife too, and she was real nice. And it was like a great recruiting tool because I wasn't committed at the time, and that really kind of like sealed the deal for me, you know.
Think how far he's come now since that time, because he's not starstruck around us at all. No, not at all. That hasn't yet to happen on this show. That part I know. All right, now when you go and you look at this Purdue football team and defensively, and you've been watching them, and they got to a bowl game.
Right.
What have you seen from the defense that makes you excited about guys you're going to be playing with next year? You got potentially 9 guys coming back, 9 starters coming back if everybody does. Tell us about what your evaluation of what guys that you'll be your peers on the defensive end.
Right. I mean, so last year's defense was really, really good. They had a lot of upperclassmen, and it was a really good defense. And I think the defense this year has stepped up a lot with a lot of younger guys playing, and they've done an amazing job. And we're just going to keep getting better, just like the offense is going to keep getting better. The defense is going to keep getting better and better. And I think our recruiting class is really going to help with that.
Yeah.
Being the hometown kid, obviously people are going to pay a lot of attention to you and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you put much thought into if any responsibility comes with that or anything like that? If that makes any sense?
In terms of,
Pressure or responsibility, or I mean,
Is
having
it a burden?
Yeah, is it a
At
burden?
all?
No, I mean, I've always kind of like had that. Like with Westside, we're expected to win. So I guess that's going to be the same expectation with Purdue. I mean, a few years ago, that wasn't really the mentality that the Boilermakers had, and with Coach Braum and then Rondell and then our recruiting class, I think that's going to change, and we'll be a really good football team, and we're going to be at the top of the Big Ten in a few years.
And we're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves, but George is also a state champion in track.
Right.
But there's been some discussion, and maybe at some point in time you would do that. Still aspirations of doing that at Purdue, and shot put, right, is what you won this.
Right.
Season, so.
Yeah, I mean that's a big maybe.
Yeah.
As of now, I want to just get settled and get myself right with football, and then reevaluate. You know, see if I want to do it. See if it's best for me. So it's still up in the air.
Yeah. All right. Good question. You did great. You are ready for the attention that you're going to get here before long. But, you know, and you can always come back to us and remember where it all started. So, no, I'm just giving you a hard time. Hey, thank you so much for your time,
You bet.
George, and congratulations on a state championship.
Thank
And we absolutely look forward to watching you for the next 4 years in West Lafayette with the Boilermakers. All right, we're going to take a short break, 2 minutes. We'll bring in Matt Stevens, and we'll keep Brian on here. We'll try to make sense of this entire week that was at Purdue Sports and look ahead a little bit. Obviously, Brian will be traveling to Ann Arbor tomorrow for Purdue basketball as well. We'll hit a little bit on that. So we'll see you in a couple minutes on Gold and Black Live.